Right, it's one of my favorite topics and one of the hottest topics in the world. Artificial intelligence. Will a robot be sitting in this chair 10, 20 years? Will Arise TV hire robots to do this job? Elon Musk joined other tech luminaries for a private summit with US senators Wednesday, where he warned of the civilizational risk that artificial intelligence poses to our society. Here's what he said. Following the gathering, Musk spoke briefly with a throng of reporters, telling them there is some chance that is above zero that AI will kill us all. I think it's low, but if there's some chance, I think we should also consider the fragility of human civilization. Well, joining us now to discuss further, Jessica Ofoh. She's the founder of ProductGeeks community, also a product developer as well. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning.
Glad to have you in the tech space. So let's talk AI. Do you think Elon Musk has a point? Is it going to kill us all?
Well, there's reasons to be concerned.
Yeah.
AI is a very serious tool that requires a lot of monitoring and regulations. So people who have access to this data should be able to manage it and regulate it. And then the government needs to create policies that ensures that people don't misuse it or mismanage it or expose young people into things that they should not be exposed to.
Okay, but on the regulation side, right, and he was there, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, all these tech folks were in this big room with Chuck Schumer of the Democrats talking about this, along with a lot of Republicans and so on. Can you regulate something that over time is going to be thinking for itself? It sounds like it's really tricky to try to regulate software, machine learning, something that is going to essentially be making decisions on its own, I guess with some kind of human guidance. Is that possible? Do you think it can be regulated,
Yes, I think it can be regulated because AI is a simulation of human intelligence into machines.
Yeah.
So it's what you feed it that it feeds out.
Yeah.
So the data that AI has access to is very, very important. So the more the data is regulated, the easier it is to control the effect of AI and then the result that it brings to the table.
Okay, there's some burning issues that we wanted you to share your thoughts on with respect to the scheme of AI, right? I think, first of all, is the potential, right? Is the potential for what it can be used for beyond our imaginations. We've had, I think last week we were looking at a robot that was flying, that can fly a plane. Another one that was frying chicken and so on and so forth. So if you look at our burning issues for AI, let's start with the potential. Do you think the potential is just way beyond anything that we could imagine?
Yes, I think it's going to bring a lot of automation. It's going to bring a lot of energy resources management. It's going to bring a lot of productivity to the way humans work. So yes, I think the potential for AI is very, 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 very great.
Yeah.
So, but I think that we need to regulate it. The policies need to work for the people and not against the people. So that's where we need to manage it properly.
Okay, so you see, but this is where things get a little tight. Okay, so that's the robot. That's P-Bot, I think, and that's is university in South Korea or so. This thing can read manuals for air flights, and it can technically fly a plane. Now, the guest we had last week, she said she wouldn't go near any plane that is being flown by a robot. But I think we also have another robot that's frying chicken in a restaurant, yeah? So the thing, yeah, here it is. So this is that robot. I think this was either in Korea. I can't remember what part of Asia this was, but this thing is, putting potatoes in oil. There it is to the left, right? And it's helping to cook. Now, the thing is, this is something that a human being was doing. Yeah, there it is. It's dumping the fries in the oil. It's shaking them. It's cooking. There's also, yeah, there it is. So when we talk about the risks and the opportunities, I want to ask you about jobs, because these are jobs that human beings were doing. This machine is replacing a person that is frying chicken. The other one is flying a plane. I could be replaced. You could be talking to a robot 20 years from now. So what about the risks to jobs for human beings?
Well, I know that AI is going to automate a lot of processes, but I also know that it's going to create more opportunities. So people need to create more skills like creativity, problem solving, and critical thinking. Because the problem that AI fixes is engineered by a human being.
Right.
So people with higher problem solving skills will definitely have jobs when AI take over.
Okay. I have to say, Jessica, you are really putting a lovely positive spin on all this, right? Which is great. But there will be job losses, will there not? You're saying that move on and learn better skills and then move on to another job. So basically, menial tasks like frying chicken, although frying chicken and flying a plane are two different skill sets. But so you're saying that the answer is to get better skills and move on from those other tasks.
Yes, to be more creative.
To be more creative.
Yeah,
okay.
Whatever you do.
How do you leverage AI for business outcomes? You're in the product development space, so you can speak to this.
So AI for business outcome could be used for personalization, customer services. So we have AI chatbots that automate those processes and the time that human beings used to spend to respond to clients. It could also be used for forecasting, data analysis and financial reports.
Yeah, but you see, I like to use Microsoft Excel, and for people in my line of work, when we're doing forecasts, economic forecasts, GDP, inflation, and so on, which is manual, I admit. You go in there and you do your thing. So is that not? You see, if you're saying that you can use the machine for forecast,
it'll save you more time.
Right, so I don't have to do that anymore.
Yes.
Is there any worry what about kids in school? And are you worried? Are you not worried about? Because when I'll you'll show my age here. When I was in school, I had to learn everything, manually. With kids today, and is there a risk of them depending too much on assistance from artificial intelligence to go forward in school?
Yes, there's a huge risk. As you can see, most people use ChatGPT to do their assignments.
Exactly.
Yes. So, but where we need a balance is them being able to learn. So that's where the policies and the regulations comes in. So we're not saying, I won't say don't use ChatGPT, but understand what ChatGPT has given you. That's the difference. So you're not just copying and pasting and uplifting content, but then you understand the flow, because ChatGPT saves time.
Yeah.
So you could just put it, say, explain this equation, and then it gives you a breakdown. But the ability to still discipline yourself to understand what it's telling you, that's where you draw the line.
I wish I had ChatGPT to explain quadratic equations for me, and when I was doing further maths in school. Service quality and the ethical side, what's the balance there?
Well, I would say that government policies, the government people and regulators need to partner with people who are building these products to ensure that there is a balance and that people don't go over the board and be too creative, I would like to put it that way, and create things that actually cause problems for the human civilization.
Okay, so what's your take on the deep fake? Look at this, someone took our What's Trending show, which is incredibly popular, and manipulated OG's voice to say that and put a heading that President Tinubu, you saw it, right? Right, that Tinubu was going to introduce the dollar as the currency in Nigeria. They even manipulated the president's voice as well. So, of course, we had to come out and say that was completely fake. But are those not the ethical and someone did that? How does regulation fight that? It's really hard, because it's some young girl or guy in a basement somewhere in the computer manipulating all these things and then putting it on social media.
I would say that people have to take personal responsibility for what they hear and verify information.
True.
So when you hear something, you have to be sure. Yes, I don't just share it out of the blues.
We should tell our parents that they keep sharing stuff that they see on WhatsApp all the time. Okay, so what about your space? Just talk about you're a product developer, you're a product manager. What can AI do for? Have you utilized it? What do you think it can do for what you do?
Yes, I do utilize AI. AI helps us a lot.
Yeah.
Analyze data, give us forecasts, help us to come up with write-ups and automate a lot of tasks. But where I would say that AI can never replace us, like AI write codes, ChatGPT write codes, but it can't write the code to build a whole mobile app. So problem solving and critical thinking are very two skills that everybody in the product space and in development space needs to focus on critically now, so that you know that even though you have ChatGPT writing these codes, you're still the one who is creating the problem solving equation that it carries out.
Who is depending most on you? Is it startups as far as what you're doing with product development? What sector is really relying on what you're doing right now?
Startups and new innovations, yes.
And so is it? You saw our last guest we had. He has a platform that is supposed to automate and make events more seamless. With what you're seeing in the space, it seems to be one, identity management, and two, payments. Would you say those are the two main drivers of activity in Nigeria's tech or Africa's tech space right now?
Well, they are the popular ones. I think a lot of people are still doing a lot of great products that we don't know about. So, but those are the very, very two popular ones. And I think those are the ones that bring fast money. So a lot of people tend to focus on it. Yes, but there are a whole lot of innovative ideas that people are doing in the Nigerian tech space that needs more publicity.
Okay, great. And so the reason why the money is fast is because I'm sure our viewers are wondering, if you are asking a product manager like yourself to come and assist a startup with a ID or an ID management or payment, it's the revenue that it generates per each transaction. That's where the money is coming from, right?
Yes.
What are you seeing forward, going as far as the future is concerned? Are we going to see payments and identity management going to continue to dominate the space going forward, or do we see other things coming forward in the space?
Well, I think they'll dominate because they have more users. So any product that has large consumer base actually will dominate. So yes, I think that they'll be dominate. They'll be more seamless and a lot of innovation will come into it. But yes, I think they will dominate.
Are startups solving Nigeria's problems? When you think about lack of electricity, maybe that's a government thing. Are they actually meeting the needs of where the pressing issues are in the country? Do you think they are?
I think they're trying their best, to be honest. And I think that if we had more policies and more rewards for innovation, people will be more encouraged to do more. So when people know that if they do certain things, there'll be reward for innovation, they will actually strive more. But I think they're actually doing great. Okay,
you have spoken, I think I've read a bunch of stuff that you've written and other panels you've been on. Expanding our digital culture here in Nigeria and maybe across the continent. Where does that start from?
Well, like I said earlier, rewarding innovation. So when I know that I'm putting in the work and I know that the government is going to back me with favorable policies, they are going to give me negotiations that is going to make my business go forward. More Nigerians will do better. But when they feel like there's a restriction, like in the tech startup space, everybody feels like, oh, the government is after you.
Right.
So that narrative needs to change. So we need to see more favorable innovations and more favorable policies from the government.
Dr. Bosun Tijani is an example of government trying to use someone in the tech space to head a ministry, right? CC Hub, right? Is that an example of government listening and trying to put somebody that's a part of the tech space to head a ministry, and you think that's going to make things easier or better for us?
Yes, I think that's a commendable example because Dr. Bosun has done amazing great before now, and he's still doing amazing great for a lot of startups. So yes, I think that's a step in the right direction. So
what about women in the tech space? What's your take on representation?
Well, it's growing. It's getting better. Yeah.
Is your team all women, or
no? It's mixed.
It's mixed.
Well, it's definitely getting better. We have more women in tech now.
But you see, the conversation about women in tech, doesn't it start from encouraging girls at the earlier levels in school to take on these technology roles? Is there enough of a push there?
Yes, there is a push, but it could be more. But there's definitely startups that are focusing on educating young girls in secondary schools on STEM projects and STEM careers that could actually pursue. But they could definitely be more push in that direction.
Jennifer Ofoh, it's Ofoh. Yeah?
Jessica,
I said Jennifer. Jessica Ofoh, founder of ProductGeeks. Thank you so much for joining us to talk AI and a number of other pressing issues in the tech space. Appreciate your time.